some real money in the room.
The black woman is God.
No, in the sense of which I've always said no. Now, everybody in the community really get that teaching, and they get it from Dr. Ben. So I just want to say that for those of you who don't know where that teaching comes from, it comes from Dr. Ben. So you probably most likely heard it from Seti first, because he studied under Dr. Ben, and then you heard it from either me or Polite, but it comes from Dr. Ben. And I got it through genetic research as well as following Dr. Ben and Seti on the teaching, but I want to let everybody know where my understanding comes from and what I mean when I say that. Because everybody has a different perspective. Seti got his own perspective. I don't know what the Polite got going on, but I'm giving y'all my perspective, right? I am a polymath, for those of you who don't know. A polymath is even greater than a regular genius. A genius is someone who mastered one subject. A polymath is someone who's mastered multiple subjects, hence poly meaning many in math. So I actually am a master level geneticist. Now, with that being said, when you look at the chromosome structures, right, and this comes into extraterrestrials and everything, because if y'all don't know, I've been abducted like 5 to 7 times. And I'm very well versed on extraterrestrials, very well versed. Now, actually, I believe I'm the most versed in the world. But with that being said, when you look at the human genome structure, specifically of black people, we have an XX chromosome and an XY chromosome. The XX chromosome is feminine and the XY chromosome is male. We know that the XY chromosome is the XX chromosome minus 2.8% of its own genetic mass. Hence why every woman is impregnated with a male or with a female until 2 to 6 weeks into the birth, when that Y chromosome is transferred back to the fetus through the placenta from the mother, and then the child goes to become a boy. But if that process never takes place, we all would be girls. And this is also why you're born with extra foreskin on your penis, because the foreskin on your penis is the skin that's supposed to be on your vaginal wall had you stayed on the road to becoming a girl. So this is also why men neurologically, I don't even want to say grow. We neurologically develop a tad bit slower than girls. This is why girls tend to be faster.
Not to interrupt you, but because you brought up foreskin, right? And
yes, sir.
I thought that was to protect. You know what I'm saying? So, I know this is the inside out, though. You know what I'm saying, or however it is, but I didn't.
I'm not saying it may not be protective to the. I'm not even discarding that.
Right.
I just know that it is the skin on a vaginal wall as well. You know what I'm saying? So like no homo, but like your penis is like your vaginal wall coming out, but with a shaft in there, and your balls is actually your ovaries coming out. So a penis and your penis and your testicles is actually a vaginal tube or a vaginal canal, and the ovaries coming out of the body. This is why it's male and female, man and womb man. A woman is just a man with a womb, no homo. So, this is why they call her our counterpart. Even in the Bible, when they say Adam and Eve, Adam is Adam's and Eve is the mitochondrial Eve gene. That's why they say Eve came from Adam's rib, because Eve is really just DNA looks like a twisted ladder. It looks like a rib cage. So that's the science why they say woman came from man, but really man came from woman. So when I say the black woman is God, I'm talking about genetical foundated proof that they were here first, at least in this form, from what we know ourselves to be Homo sapien. And then I'm talking about from cometology, because it's not Egyptology, it's cometology, where we're talking about Noon, which is the primordial waters, which is the universe, which is ever expanding. That is primarily an electronic force. And when we say electronic, we're talking about electrons, because electrons, which are on the outside of atoms, are the particular molecules which actually create elements. So to give you an example, if this is chemistry, the first element would be helium, I believe, if not hydrogen. Hydrogen, right? Yeah. Thank you very much. Hydrogen. And then let's say hydrogen gives off hydrogen has one electron, and then when hydrogen gets another electron from another atom's ring, it upgrades to another element and becomes helium. So the masculine force, just like in our solar system, the sun is in the middle and the planets are like electrons. Same thing on an atom. That's why they say as above, so below. You got the protons and the neutrons in the middle, which is the power. Then you got the electrons on the outside, like your mama in the kitchen on Thanksgiving with all your aunties. They cooking and making. So that's how the universe is constantly expanding, and things are being born. Planets are born out of stardust. There's no such thing as stardust. It's actually just called astrobiologics. So astrobiology is actually just the origins of where all of our DNA and everything come from, and why we made up of carbon and stardust, and how we form on these planets. So when I say the black woman is God, and she's the physical representation of the creator is the universe, and she's the physical creator of the universe. But I don't mean that in the sense of your baby mother should be dogging you and cussing you out. Because I know for a fact a lot of women take some of my teachings and they abuse them. Just like men take some of my teachings and they abuse them. And that is my biggest fear, and what my biggest fear has always been, that somebody would say, well, young Pharaoh said this, so let me go around the house and be a terrorist. You know what I'm saying? So I'm only speaking towards that as generator, organizer, dispenser. Black women generate, organize, and dispense genetics in order for us to carry on these physical vessels. I've also used the analogy of renting a car. You know what I'm saying? In order for you to reincarnate, for you to become carnal once again, you have to come through the vessel of a female. So it'd be like going to rent a car. You get that car, you do what you do, and you take it back. You get this body, you do what you do, then you go back to the ethers, and your body goes back to the earth. At least it should. I don't know what, there ain't no telling what they doing with your body today, but it should be going back in the ground. But long story short, that is what I mean when I say the black woman is God. Just giving her genetic and cosmic and spiritual respects, even if she today has abandoned or forgot them. But as far as like just trying to be bullies or get you fired from your job or your relationships up or not let you see your kids or put you on child support,
right?
That's not what I'm doing. That ain't what I'm talking about. You feel me? And it's a lot of women that be with a black woman is God. Like, no, that ain't what I'm talking about. And beautiful question. Glad we got to that. Right. And that's all. Oh, I got one more thing. I got a couple more things the conscious community did. So basically, they try to get on me for saying I'm not pro-black, but I'm not pro-black. I'm pro-righteous. And the reason I say that is because black people do bullshit just like everybody else. We might not be doing it on the scale of everybody else, but as I just told y'all, everything I've been through. So imagine getting dogged out and getting false accusations and having your freedom jeopardized constantly by that's claiming to be conscious, but then they yelling that they pro-black. So I said I'm pro-righteous because I've always had a diverse crowd. I remember I did a lecture in Philly one time. I had Chinese people and white people come out. I did a lecture in Chicago. I had white people come. Imagine that. I'm doing a lecture in the south side of Chicago. I got white boys up in there. So I always have a diverse crowd. I've never just had only black people in my So I always say I'm pro-righteous. I'm pro what is righteous. I'm not just pro-black because black people do, but you know how much, but I got the out of the streets because I seen doing. So you know what I'm saying? I don't deal with a lot of my family because they full of. I actually don't deal with none of them. So imagine that.
Hey, real tone, there's some real money in the room.